Think of all the different women you've had sex with.
Only 3.
I like that, bro. I like that.
Wow, all 3 of
Body
them.
count of 3.
Guys.
All 3 of them don't have sex the exact same way.
No.
100%. My body
Eh?
counts.
Okay, no, go for it.
I'm on 36.
36.
Yes.
Does the rule apply that with girls you must multiply by 4?
See, the concept of body counts is to limit and police women so that they're not going out there. No one really cares about a man's body count. If you tell a woman I've had sex with 100 women, they'll probably be like, oh, he's experienced.
Yeah.
But if a woman does it, it's like, yo, I'm trying to throw a sausage through a hallway. I'm not about that. Like, you know.
A hallway.
Hey, what's up, homies? This is your homie Sai. I'm out here with Lindy. And I've got my homie Nick. And today's episode is about polygamy and polyandry.
And
So
all
look-
the police.
And so lokho kuchaza ukuthi awuthi thatha abafazi abaningi, abafazi thatha amadoda amaningi. We're just rocking.
One has a bakery, one has a sausage restaurant.
Do you want to expand a bit on this before we start, like the different types of polies?
Explain it, actually.
Okay, so I'm going to explain the difference between all of them.
Yeah.
There is an umbrella like title of polygamy, which is being married to more than one person.
Yeah.
And when
Applies
you say
on both sides.
it applies both sides.
Oh, okay.
But when it's men having multiple wives, it's called polygamy.
Yeah.
And when it is women having multiple husbands, it's called polyandry. Then there is polyamory, which is where I fall under. And that basically means that you have the consent of your partner to be with multiple people.
So it's like an open relationship.
Basically. In fact, all of them fall under open relationships. It's just, except monogamy, which is being with one person the rest of your life. I don't know why you would want to do that.
So what kind of relationship is pretty ugly? Because he is in the room when his hand is being smashed.
So,
Apparently.
I don't know that.
There's
Apparently.
also fetishes.
Oh.
There's also, you might not necessarily actually be in a relationship with someone.
Nick.
And that is called cuckolding.
Apparently.
But wait, guys.
And I'm ignoring the people that we are using as
Apparently.
references because I do not know anything. I don't gossip.
Like Nick.
But maybe it's cuckolding. Maybe he just likes to watch his girl getting fucked.
Pretty ugly situation.
Where'd you get this information from?
I saw it on some YouTube video or some shit.
yo, guys, I'm not commenting on that.
Again.
Like Nick, you just shot my knife.
Apparently.
Have Jesus in you. Wow, like.
Apparently.
Okay, let me ask you guys a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that you would be comfortable with your
No.
partner?
No.
Okay. Would you
Try that again.
expect your partner
No.
To understand.
be comfortable,
Yes.
understand?
Yes.
Yes.
See, that's the hypocrisy of men.
But
Like,
it's privilege though.
what is the privilege?
No, but
Like when you're in a position of power, then everything is okay. But when it's against you, you feel like it's the greatest crime committed on you.
Yeah, but who defines what power is? Like, who says who has the power?
The one who's been getting away with it for a long time.
Lindy, I'll tell you, it's very selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, but probably now because it's expensive as hell, like getting multiple wives or multiple partners, you wouldn't do it. But from a guy's perspective, it's hella selfish. Like it's crazy selfish because guys would expect the woman to understand, but then they don't want to be in a position to understand.
I
that
think
the
to
woman has
us,
more partners.
I think to us, it's more like we've always had this idea that a woman might catch feelings. You know, it's always about the emotion aspect of it. Like we know we can do this thing and not feel anything at all for that chick. You understand? So we're still not used to the new age of modern women who can go in there, the fuck a nigga and get out. You know, that's why
Me, essentially.
you know what I mean? So we always believe in the back of our mind, even when a girl says no, because we're so used to the experiences of relationships where like a girl says, no, we can do it without catching feelings, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Having those relationships, but in the end, she always catches feelings. So that experience kind of makes you believe that no, she will eventually catch feelings, whatever.
But everyone catches feelings, Nick.
No. If you
No,
stay in
guys,
your lane,
guys as well catch feelings.
I don't think it's more
possible.
like catching feelings. It's more like you
grow
enjoy
to
it.
something.
Yeah, you kind of like it becomes your favorite type of.
and you become comfortable.
Yeah, but not catching.
Okay, but Lindy, so now let's bring it into the black household. Or let me say the South African household, traditionally where lobola has been paid. So if a woman is going to take and have, say, 3 husbands, does she now pay lobola for these guys? Like the dynamics with that. What
So
happens?
I really can't speak on South African culture purely based on the fact that I was raised in quite a Western Eurocentric kind of home. So even the concept of lobola for me, I'm just like, what's the real reason? But it is a matter of kind of like a token. So from my understanding, it's a token to say we are taking this woman out of the home, and women are usually the ones who are the home bearers. They're the ones who create the home. So if we're taking this woman out of this home, it means that that home is less one woman. So you're kind of compensating for that.
Yeah.
So that's how I understand it. So technically, if it's in a polyandry situation, it's not necessarily that you're taking a man out of a home when it comes to the lobola situation.
Oh, that's deep.
So I don't necessarily know how it would work. Does the man still now pay? Because he's not taking her out of a home. In fact, he's going into her home. If we're being
I'm not paying to share.
So I'm paying to go to her house. Basically.
Whoa, a lot of ego going around over here.
No, but
I don't know.
One's not paying to share and one doesn't want to go into her home. Why? There's so many societal standards that say that the man has to be the breadwinner. He has to be the head of the house. He has to. And both men and women are the ones who kind of perpetuate this these stereotypes. So naturally, you will feel like, why am I going into your home? But if her home is bigger, it's got more space, it's more beautiful, it's more comfortable, why would she then come into yours? So because she's removing herself from
my bedroom
space.
I'm joking.
So how does it work though? Like, do you share, like in those kind of relationships, you share according to the days? Like you are Monday, you're Tuesday, you're Wednesday, you are Thursday.
The nice thing
and
about
you are definitely public holiday.
Don't laugh too hard. Okay, so let me speak from my own personal perspective. Open relationships are usually dictated by those in relationships. So the rules and the limitations are according to your agreement. They vary for different people. So where, let's say one person, and I'm not going to give personal experiences, but let's say one person says, okay, you can go out and you can be with other people, but it has to be spontaneous. It has to be someone you don't know. It has to be basically just,
So it can only work when you don't know the person.
That's according to that rule. But some people are very fluid. They're all in one big happy home. It's a poly family. Not necessarily swingers. So swinging is when one couple exchanges with another couple.
Oh.
That's very different.
I'm also not doing that. It's good for other people, but I'm not swinging.
Why?
Why not? Imagine one room, bro.
No, imagine one room and that guy's killing your person. Nah, boy.
And you're not doing that much of a good job there.
No, it's not. Baby, right.
Wait. But again, that is the male ego speaking because you're so scared of one being compared. I think that's also another reason why men feel a little bit inadequate when it comes to women enjoying toys. Because it's like, oh, but I've got a whole piece of meat here with blood running through it. Why would you need something plastic?
But have you seen the size of those things also? Like, oh,
Imbo
face.
What? There's women who carry around necklaces that are vibrators, and that works for them way more than a penis. So it doesn't necessarily, size doesn't matter, contrary to
it's
what
about
people...
getting there.
And it's about knowing which spot to hit. So, and also sometimes the novelty of something can make it more exciting. Having sex with the same person can become very mundane and boring. And it's like, oh, we're doing it in the bed again. Oh, we're trying the couch again. Like, it's nothing really new. And I think that's where a lot of couples struggle to kind of keep it fresh and exciting. But that's where polyamory comes in. You get different, and that's why I'm polyamorous personally, because I feel like I have different connections with different people. The chemistry that I experience and the reason for having sex with you in the moment is different to the next. It's not like I'm comparing, oh, this person gave me strokes like this, so this one's going to be doing the same thing, and that's why I want
different
it.
experiences.
Think of all the different women you've had sex with.
Only 3.
I like that, bro. I like that.
Wow, all 3 of
Body
them.
count of 3.
Guys.
All 3 of them don't have sex the exact same way.
No, they don't.
100%. So the same applies for when I have sex with different men.
Yeah.
It's not to say that I'm doing it because one is
What's your body
lacking.
count?
My body, I don't mind sharing it. My body count.
Okay, no, go for it.
I'm on 36.
36.
Yes. Okay. Older than my age, but not too far off.
That's actually good.
That's what.
But wait.
I like that.
Does the
Also,
rule
I don't
apply
believe
that?
in body counts.
That's like half of.
Does the rule apply that with girls must multiply by 4?
See, the concept of body counts
Yeah.
is to limit and police women so that they're not going out there. No one really cares about a man's body count. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, you've had sex. No one, if you tell a woman I've had sex with 100 women, they'll probably be like, oh, he's experienced. But if a woman does it, it's like, yo, you're trying to throw a sausage through a hallway. I'm not about that. Like, you know.
A hallway.
So it's literally just a concept to police women and to kind of keep them limited, which has got to stop.
And Nick, you on 500.
Yeah. I like the way you
With polyandry, like, do the guys now take up the surname of the woman?
Again, that is all personal choice. So like, you can get married to one person and she can still choose whether she wants to take your surname.
Yeah.
It's a matter of whether she wants to.
Yeah.
I think personally, in a polyandrous situation, it would make sense to retain your own surname and everyone retains theirs, but you're married in community of property legally, but not necessarily by name.
So with polygamy, there's umamkhulu, who's a short caller. So if you come in as mamncane and maybe wife number 3, you all bow down to mamkhulu. Does that apply in polyandry, where if Nick was the first guy, Nick just calls the shots? If it's supposed to be my day, then Nick is like, hey man, today I want you. So you have to.
It depends on the agreement that you have with one another, but there is usually a primary. So polyamory, there's a primary relationship, and you can either go and have a physical engagement with other people, or you can have other relationships, or you can all be in one relationship together. With polygamy, it also, I guess, would be a primary, whoever comes first. But I think the whole thing with open relationships is more trust and transparency. And the more open and honest you are, the easier it is for you to engage and to be fluid and comfortable with one another, because you're not trying to step on anybody else's toes. You're all just trying to love one person. So chances are there can be competition, there can be jealousy, and
feelings
that's
getting caught.
100%, and that's in any kind of relationship. But the difference between an open relationship and maybe a monogamous one is that you have to be a lot more honest than you would if you're a monogamous, because it's hard. It's actually really hard. People think that, oh no, it's just an excuse for you to go and have sex with different people. But if your agreement from the beginning is that I'm going to be transparent, it means every time you want to have sex, every time you're about to, every time you have to tell this person. Whereas in monogamy,
you have responsibility.
So
it really does. It's not
does it like make the relationship even better, like with the main partner? Does the sex start to get better?
For me, I think it does. I think
why do you miss each other, or the idea of
the freshness that I maintain in my relationship based on the almost stepping out and getting, like, okay, I always use the analogy of chicken, right? We all love to eat chicken.
Yeah, because breasts and thighs.
You know what I'm saying? And my favorite chicken is, let's say, Nando's. But I don't want to eat
so
Nando's every single day.
You
Every
know,
single
yeah,
day?
Yeah.
What about having, muchachos or KFC or chicken
dust
licken
from
or chicken
Alex.
dust, or,
Yeah.
road runners,
Yeah.
So it's not to say that Nando's stops being my favorite. It's just I just preferred a different flavor on this day. And I actually start to think, oh, this is why Nando's is my favorite.
But you're still loyal to Nando's.
100%.
Actually, I've got a question for the viewers, and I've got a question for you guys as well. Why is it that when women are under the age of 30, they don't entertain polygamy, and then after that they are all ready for it?
Is it a more mature thing? Are you trying to say that, or is it more?
I know what he's trying to say.
What, they're giving up?
He's basically saying we become more undervalued at the age of 30, so it's harder to find a man, so you're more likely to settle.
No. Someone said, a friend of mine was like, right now I'm 25 and I know my worth. So like, give me like 4 or 5 more years, and then I might just entertain.
So they value themselves like soccer players.
Yeah, essentially, and not necessarily themselves.
But Cristiano Ronaldo is 37, is still.
Yeah, and
some of them still look hot when they.
No.
It's not about looks. It's about can you carry my child? Can you are you going to be crippled whilst you're running after my child? Like, are you gonna grow up with my child? There's so many different things that even women put on themselves to be like personally right now, I'm like, okay, I'm turning 32. I think now would be a good time
to have a kid.
But at the same time, my career has just taken off. So it's like, okay, priorities. And that's usually what happens with women. We start to feel like as we get older, we're a little bit less valued, not only because we feel that way, but also because society says so. And you get married men who can be in their 60s and say, actually, I want a newer model. Divorce, 20-year-old.
We can do, according to a study by this dating site, it says that usually women peak at 18 from there, and then men peak at 50. So that means, so only then men do become super attractive at the age of 50.
True.
Because to us it's a marathon. We can do this till the grave. Dick's still there in the grave. Like, we are there. Like,
I can also get that. I think also when you get to the age of 50, you are a little
more
bit more established.
Exactly.
So you are more attractive because you look like a more secure option. You have a lot of things in place that you've built over the years.
But also, isn't like the ideal age for a woman to have kids, isn't 40 and below, isn't that like the most ideal? Because
start a family.
I mean, look,
are there complications
afterwards?
There
are.
But with
obviously,
technology
the older
today,
you are, the older you are,
seen.
there's complications with anything because your body is just not as young to be able to handle a lot of the trauma that comes with being pregnant. But with the technological advancements in medicine, you can. I don't think that's such an issue.
And the whole cesarean.
So that's not only so cesarean is just a way of actually giving birth, but there can still be other complications that come prior to the time of giving birth based on what your body's able to handle. So yes, 18 would be ideal and before 40 would be, but it's not impossible to do it after.
When does menopause start again, and how does that affect
menopause varies for different people. There's also premenopause. People can experience menopause from like 30 even. It just depends on what your body's releasing, how much hormones your body's releasing. It's very rare. It's not common, but it is possible. But I would say like the actual menopause can start from the age of 50. But correct me if I'm wrong.
Going back to the topic, I wanted to know more about polygamy, right? From how I read it, from like traditions and stuff, right? Usually the wife becomes involved in the choosing of the second wife. But I see that nowadays people are like, they choose for themselves, and then once they smash,
someone is a side chick for 3-4 years,
and then says, "Yo, mamkulu,
I think that's just you guys being selfish if you are going to state that you are polygamous from the get-go, then the decision about who we are bringing into our home should be a mutual thing. But because
that's
men,
how it should be.
it should be.
Yeah.
But because men have gotten so comfortable, I don't even think polygamy is something that men decide on up until a point where they're already married and they're like, ish, I'm in a situation now because this one is also delicious and so is this one. So now what must I do? Let's marry
Nando's
them
and
all.
Nando's.
Imagine.
So another thing that I think makes guys fear the thought of Mamkulu picking like Umamncane.
What's he gonna pick
Yes.
an ugly one? I know what you mean, bro. I know you like I'm good. Pick a friend from church, bro.
But this one is respectful. You guys respect each-
I wouldn't do
Okay,
now.
well, you have to think of. So
Yeah.
the whole point of polygamy is to be able to extend your family and to do so with someone who's able to hold your child and still take care of your child and your legacy, basically. So getting your wife to choose isn't necessarily going to benefit you if the choice is based on jealousy or just wanting to be the best of the crop, because then you're defeating the whole point.
That's why wives choose the least. You think it's because
Also,
of
look, like, let's be realistic.
Okay, wait. Lindy, if you had to do it, would you choose a hand that's
Nah,
way
she
hotter
would.
than you? Even if she's got values.
Lady would, because she like them too.
Yeah, me too. So it don't have to benefit me.
She wants when you
Also-
done, she wants to come in.
Like, yo,
Also,
babe, can I
I
jump
believe in
in?
the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
You know, the more beautiful people in one space,
Yeah.
even the ugly one will look beautiful.
Oh,
So
Bestie.
if my
Shit, that's
husband
true.
has a really good-looking wife, it elevates him, which in turn elevates me.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily only based on looks as well. There's achievements. How smart and intelligent is this person? How fit are they?
How creative.
What kind of children
Well-
are they going to bear
Yeah.
to carry on your legacy?
Dude, that's dope.
Yeah, but also just like
Yes, and of course they have to be hot,
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Just, you know?
which isn't hard in South Africa.
Yeah, South Africa.
Woo!
That's true. It's
yeah,
gifted.
You can go to the
get
spaza down the road.
You know what I
and
mean?
be like, yo,
You find hotter chicks than those ones that.
Yeah, but you don't want that one by the spasm.
why?
I'm joking.
Why?
Nah, I'm joking.
Tell us about your experience.
No experiences, no.
You're speaking like he knows. You're
Nah, I'm
rude.
joking.
You are
I'm joking.
rude. Yeah, no. I
That's
think
dope.
also, like, if you look at it the other way around, like women having multiple husbands, the motivations aren't always the same because you're now the only one bearing those children.
Yeah.
But maybe, and all relationships, contrary to what people like to think, are an exchange in some way. They are a contractual agreement. So if you are bringing in these multiple husbands into your home, into your space, to grow your space financially, or maybe there's physical attributes that he has that is going to expand your territory, then it makes sense. Whereas with men, it's to bear children. So I can only do 9 months at a time.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas the other way around, 2-3 women can be pregnant at the same time.
Yeah, which means that.
That's why there's a pool.
Which means that if I'm husband number 5, I have to wait 5 years. Which means you're back in 5 years because you have to pay 5 kids for all this.
My guy.
Also, chances are you're not going to marry 5 husbands and then say, you guys wait your turn. Like, you marry one, then you look for the next one, then you look for the next one. And if it's done correctly, like it should be, then again, it's you guys deciding, is this the right time? Is this something that we need?
But usually for females, it's not about childbearing, right?
Yeah.
It's more like
security.
security.
Security. Also, does it
It's
make
kind of smart,
sense?
actually.
Okay. Let's say, let me make an example. Say you're getting 5 guys. Would you allow, for example, guy number 4 and 5 to go get kids with someone else?
See, that's where I cross the line. You can get your wild willy out there and do your thing, but don't go giving someone else a child, because then that defeats the
the purpose
of expanding my family, because then we may as well have not been married at all.
Yeah.
It's like saying, oh, if you get a second wife, is she allowed to go and get pregnant by someone else? Why? What's the actual purpose?
You think South Africa's not ready for this? This
yeah, no lay.
I saw the outcry on a certain Sangoma who's got like wants to marry like 2 husbands, and like everybody went crazy about that shit.
Yeah, but they would, because unfortunately South Africans are victims of their experience and their circumstances and their environment. Men perceive women a certain way and hold them to a certain societal standard, and women do the same on men, and men do the same on men, women do the same on women. So as a man, if you don't have money, if you don't, look a certain way, if you're not driving a certain car, all of that, it's not only the men who are putting you under pressure as like, yo, my boy, I just got this new whip, but it's also the women who are more attracted to those who have more, who seem more secure, and they're like, oh, and I must, if he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. So we're all kind of like bashing against one another, and I think that's also a contributing factor to our gender-based violence. Like we're expecting men to be at a certain level, and women are doing it the same, mothers are doing it with their sons, but also your boys, you're in varsity, and this one has got a really nice car, and you can see this guy's getting all the girls, but when you finally do get money, you're like, okay, it's my turn now. But for some reason you still don't have the juice that your boy had. So then it's I've got the money, I've got the power,
just don't have the personality.
And then you have to exert or show your power in some way.
You end up overpaying.
100%. So there's just so many different things that I think we'd have to eradicate and fix before we even try to embark on a journey of an open marriage.
Okay. Another question is, for example, with guys always marry younger. Women marry across ages, either younger, same age or older.
Usually for us, it's for the childbearing.
Yeah, it's.
And also, you just want a fresher model. You want someone to look good on your arm. It elevates you too.
But guys, they got energy. Hey, stop it, nigga. You tired. You like, I'm not 25 anymore.
Yeah,
I'm
my
done. I'm an aging. 2000 be like, nigga, just 5 rounds.
And what's worse about these ones is that they've got the energy.
No, I've been with one. And the energy level is different.
Not only the energy, they're also super independent. They're making money a lot younger than we were at the age of 21.
Because of the availability of the technology.
100%.
And they're trying out new things.
And they are
we were busy playing with
risk
cows.
takers.
So that's true.
Yeah, they're risk takers. We were I feel like our age were the guinea pigs of the transition of change.
Yes.
So things were being tested on us, and
now,
that's why there's so much, maybe within our age. Whereas the 2000s are sure of themselves. They know what they want. They know what they don't want. They fight for what they want. It's almost like a new revolution. And they're making money. And they're making money. Much younger, starting businesses, like just taking risks. The traditional ways of living, like get a job, become a lawyer.
Fuck a job.
They're like, nah, I'm going to be an influencer, or I'm going to start a business that's around beauty, or whatever the case is.
That's true.
So very, very different times we're living in.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I'm pretty sure back in the olden days, because wives were meant to be like housewives, where you're not working and all of that. So it was also more of a security thing that you'd go into polygamy because the guy is making like good money. So which means that with Ama 2000 now, they're making their own money. So they'd go into polygamy for a different reason, and it won't be
financial.
Yeah, it won't be financial.
So if you look at the state of relationships, and let's talk about South Africa, our divorce culture, and I'm not just talking about in terms of marriage, just you get into a relationship, this person doesn't meet your requirements, and you're out. No one is taking the time to invest in getting to know the person. And to grow with that person. It's, what do I get now? No, that one looks better. Let's try that. Let's try that. And I do believe that, yes, like Laurie Harvey, in your 20s, that should be where you're testing almost everything. But I do also feel like because there's so much available, there's so many options, no one is settling on anything.
No one wants to.
And there's a lot more people, especially after COVID, who have been now divorced, who are also choosing to not marry or choosing to not have children.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, like I said, it's an evolution and it's changing
Societal
the trajectory
norms,
and the societal norms. And it will still take a really long time before it kind of plateaus and becomes a norm across the board.
Yeah.
Or it will just completely stay scattered until God returns.
I'm not complaining, man. I'm happy with whatever's going on right now. Use us. As long as you want.
Am I happy? It makes me a bit sad, to be quite honest. I look at my brother, he's 10 years younger than me, so he's 22. And my mom feels like I rubbed my polyamory off on him. She's like, this is your fault. And I'm like, actually, he's a very, very sure of himself boy.
Yeah.
They don't listen to us anymore.
They really don't. But I guess our parents would say the same about us.
Yeah.
What applies to us does not apply to
100%.
Yeah.
But what I've also realized is that they're very lost. There is no
You're lost
actual
between
path to follow or a tradition to follow, and you can create your own, but if no one's really following you, you still feel like an outcast.
Yeah.
You feel like something's wrong.
Yeah.
Again, that speaks to the depression levels, especially in men, because it's just like, it's supposed to be this way, but it's not. Everything is changing. So now, where do I go? How do I act? How do I be around a woman? And vice versa.
So is it because we're drifting away from our cultures? Was there like a certain purpose, maybe a line when we were cultural? Then now that we're becoming less cultural, maybe that might be the reason.
Not necessarily. Do you feel like you are super cultural in the way you were raised?
I have like elements and principles of culture, so that's why I'm
but not
grounded. I'm not completely.
It's not your
baseline.
foundation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
that's why I don't mind sharing.
That's why I say that we were kind of almost the guinea pigs, because as much as we have our toe in the cultural and our toe in religious, those things are still informing the ways we live.
Yeah.
Whereas the 2000s don't necessarily have that. So it's kind of the lack of culture and the lack of structure, the fact that they're even taking religion out of schools so that it's more neutral. They're trying to say you're allowed to be non-binary, but you can use the women's bathroom, and it's like, my child is a girl, but you've got a penis, but you should be allowed to use that bathroom. Like, it's very confusing for everybody, but I feel like we just need to be wiped out and
unlearn and
honestly, the only unlearning that can happen is at our level. So the way we raise our kids will definitely determine the future. But our parents and all of them, they're stuck in their ways. They are hardcore stuck in their
old
ways.
school, Old Testament.
But also some of our generation have also been conditioned.
Yes, definitely. But we easily influence each other. Our generation, it can be like, my guy, like, you don't need to force yourself on this chick. And that's why we also constantly are saying, guys, talk to your friends, speak to your boys, because we're able to influence one another. But when it comes to cultural and religious, people are already very sure of themselves in that way. So you don't necessarily try and sway them, or you have a conversation, as opposed to, you're wrong, I don't want to be friends with you anymore because you believe in sangomas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People are more accepting. Our generation is
it's
more
actually
accepting.
it's true.
100%.
Like, we can be friends. You go to church, I do my traditional stuff. He goes to a satanic what. We are friends.
100%.
But the older generation, hey, satanism.
So if your children came to you, and I'm going to ask two different things, right?
Yeah.
Do you expect your legacy to continue in terms of your children's children?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, definitely.
Why is that important?
That's the reason why I actually wanted to name my son after me. The mom was like, let my kids start on a clean slate. Two sides on a I'm like, this kid is going to be amazing,
You know why? I think it's important, because I realized something, that we won't be able to achieve our dreams completely in our lifetime. So you want somebody to continue that thing.
No, that's wrong.
That's what I feel.
Let them
why are you trying to continue your dreams through your child?
To be honest with you, I didn't bring these niggas for themselves. I brought these niggas in the world for me. It's for me. Everyone is here for me. I want you to do shit for me.
And you know
they
what?
must carry like
How you're
the family
thinking is
legacy,
not-
the surname. But in terms of the dreams they want, let them go
Do
for
their
anything they
thing.
want. Yeah.
The way you
If you wanna
think
play
is
a
not
piano,
completely different to
Yeah.
the way the average person thinks.
Yeah.
I got asked the other day why I want to have children, and I said, okay, I'll get back to you on it. And I thought about it and thought about it. I was like, actually, I've realized that the world is so fucked up, and my gene combination is so superior that it would be an injustice on generations to come if I didn't continue it as a contributor to the goodness of the world. So besides my upbringing, I really do believe that blood and the ties of blood makes a really, really big difference.
Yeah.
So I feel like, again, the person who I procreate with needs to add on to that. It mustn't just be about who they are as a person, but your lineage. What does your father do? What does his father do? And it seems a bit wrong because you're kind of judging.
But it's like what
based
animals
on
do in a
status.
way. Yeah.
But it is. Are you the strongest in the pack?
Yes.
And strong
Yeah.
doesn't only have to mean physically, but
Yeah.
mentally
as well.
and
Yeah.
So
Because you
all of
pass it
those
down.
exactly.
Because now it helps with when a child is under pressure. You find that your natural genes yourself, you
Play
can
a big
withstand
role.
pressure.
Yes.
Understand like that. You don't easily get depressed and stuff like that because I've always wondered what causes people to end up doing,
You need to do.
to
What they
themselves, and then but when you go down there,
You try to create a perfect bloodline, guys. Also. Yes.
And nothing is perfect, but if you if I look at
strengths.
who my family is, like my
genetics.
parents are really, really amazing, but my siblings and I are just like, whoa. We are actually in a league of our own in the different fields that we're in the empathy we have for people, in the kindness that we show, in the way we embrace people into our spaces. And that's very rare these days.
Yes, it's a combination of the two parents.
Coming
Those
together.
chromosomes, man.
So I have to continue that to not only my legacy, but to continue my father's legacy because that combination is rare. So why would I stop it at me? Because I'm doing a disservice to generations to come because they're not going to experience goodness that comes in this purest form.
Yes.
And not because I want my children to continue my dreams.
How many kids do you have?
3, I think.
3.
Yeah.
Boys,
I don't.
girls?
I've been tossing between the two. I don't want me, which is a bit scary. Because, guys, I was a bitch, like a brat bitch.
Yeah.
Daddy, don't park over here. My friends are going to see this car. I don't want this. And my parents putting me through private school education and wrecking their fucking brains out to try and give me the best of the best. But it took me growing up and life humbling me for me to actually realize the privilege I've had my whole life.
Maybe the same would happen to the kids.
Yeah, but I also know that because I'm bougie broke, my children are going to live a lifestyle
like that, bougie broke.
that doesn't
That's so cool.
that doesn't humble them from a young age. They're gonna have to go through things to, and I don't think it should be like that.
The kids are today smarter.
They are.
Very smarter.
But guys, quick question.
I want 9.
I know I'm going to offer them from
That
the
means
topic.
9 times. 9 fucking times.
The experiences that you went through made you who you are, right? Where you are street smart, you are book smart, you can go to Soweto and survive.
You survived there.
Would you want your kids
to experience the same.
or they must take their own route?
I think so. One thing that I really like about myself that I always say is a nice trait to have is that I'm adaptable. You can put me absolutely anywhere. You can put me in a village, you can put me in a palace, you can be anywhere, and I will look like I belong there. And I think, 1, that's also genes, but 2, I had to be in different situations to know that I was adaptable. And I think that in my dad saying, Lindy, you must take a taxi, and I'm like, taxi?
What is that?
Oh, taxi.
What is that? Is that when other people crap in?
Oh my gosh, Daddy, they're smelly.
Guys, let's tell you a story. Lindy. So Lindy was trying to catch a taxi to the land shopping mall. And then she gets to Josie. They're like Protea Dance is like yes.
Jutland.
I didn't even know there was such a thing as protein. Actually,
Like, okay.
all the grains are the same. And that's also one thing I feel my parents did a disservice for me. Like not growing up in South Africa, not being born here. My parents also not speaking any South African language to me made my environment a lot more difficult as a black woman. Because now I'm just like, I need to take a taxi. I don't have Uber money, but I need to speak to those men.
And then those Zulu men don't want to change.
Those men,
they don't want to take it.
They don't want. They just want you to.
Zulu.
If you're in this city or in this country, you must know how to speak one language.
No.
No. When you get there, you're speaking English, but
yes.
I have no idea what they're saying.
Baba,
and I don't even have that as a basics. Like I can hear a little bit because I took taxis, but to actually respond, then they'll be like, why are you speaking in English? Like, and I'm like,
you don't understand.
They don't actually understand, and they'll give you the wrong directions for the fun of it, or they'll just be like, I'm not trying to help you. So I really feel like keeping to your mother tongue, even if it's both parents are different, is important. When you're bringing in multiple husbands or multiple wives, each cultural attribution to each person needs to be put on the child. They can still choose at the end of the day what they're more comfortable with. But having a child with more variety and more options makes their lives a whole lot better.
But guys, there's something that this one pastor once said, to the Makotis, it was at home, Maushada, Ushada, if female and whatever customs that they do. If by a lawyer, now so you know. If by Hambi so on, now Hambi. If I support the parents, now support the parents. Now, when it comes to the polyandry situation, now what happens? Are you selective with regards to, is it someone who shares the same religion or same tradition as you? Because you could get 3 guys. One is
Muslim.
Muslim. The other one is Christian. The other one is a hardcore Zulu, a hardcore Tonga from Guyana. And that believe
traditionalist.
That believe in different things. Do these guys need to conform and adopt to what you believe in since you married them?
Not necessarily. I think the thing with polyandry, polyamory, polygamy, all of that, is that there's a lot of respect for the person and who they are, come as you are. And as a child, let's say you're a child of many of these husbands or wives or whatever, you feel like you have more options, but rather expose your child to all the options so they can still make the decision for themselves. But even when it comes to, in the Bible, it says that 2 must be equally yoked. And for me, especially with regards to the fact that I was brought up religious, my partner had to be a God-fearing man in order for me to feel comfortable to know that when we raise our children, we're going to raise them knowing that there is God. When it comes to Islam and Judaism and traditional cultural beliefs, there's so much that I can't necessarily adapt to. I mean, I can adapt to out of respect, but not as a lifelong decision, purely based on the fact that I wouldn't be able to give my child the right foundation that they need from that perspective. So if you are hardcore Tsonga and you must slide down and all of that, I can do it as we're getting married, but I won't be able to raise my child that way. So that's where other family members come in. And now it's like you're not necessarily the one raising your child. They're being raised by others so that you can maintain the tradition. So I also believe why it's important for you to either stick to your cultures or your cultural beliefs if you feel that you are not able to accept someone else for who they are and to raise your child that way. And I always look at people who are in interracial relationships, and I think, how is this child going to be identified? Are they going to have the privilege of the white person? No, because they're not white. But they're going to be seen as not black enough So they're going to kind of be in the middle.
Blackish.
And that's where I think even coloreds struggle, because that is a culture in its own. But people are just seeing it as, it's just a mix, you know? But it's actually not. They've created a whole new culture.
Because they were in between, the in-betweens.
And that's it. But there's a lot of loss of identity, because it's kind of like, am I dark enough to be a colored? Are you considering me an Indian? Am I Cape Malay colored? Like, there's just so many different denominations that there's a lot of confusion, but there's also not a lot of privilege that comes with it. You're either getting your BEE status because you are black, or you're getting your white privilege because you're white. But then where do the coloreds and the Indians fit in? You know?
Is that why they're so angry? He take that off from church. I get the feeling that polyandry is actually so liberal as compared to polygamy. Polygamy, there's so many things that you need to follow.
It
as the
seems
wife.
more like a dictatorship. That's why I wanted to ask her
Yeah,
that question. I wanted to ask in her.
It's a dictatorship.
I like that shit, dictatorship. You're an asshole, bro. This guy's a dick.
Why?
Oh shit, TagAHomie.
You've got enough holes.
Yeah. So basically, in a polyandry,
that's with the women with multiple
yeah,
husbands.
is she in charge? Is it more like she is more in charge, like more of her rules apply than
like if these guys are getting out of line, I'm tired of who's that pain.
She mentioned something earlier that once you as a guy go and you have babies outside, whatever, it now destroys the whole thing. You understand? It's like you cheated.
But what if the guy wants kids and
cheating
you've reached
is
your
only
limit.
when you have
That's why
broken
I'm asking you.
an agreement.
Her rules. No, no.
Cheating is when you've broken an agreement.
Okay.
So if you guys have decided up front that you can go and have babies with other people outside of this marriage, then you're not cheating.
It's liberal
because you won't be able to carry them
liberal, like.
But I think the same, all open relationships require, what did I say, openness and transparency and communication. And if you are going to get to a point where you're like, okay, and that's why I don't think that in either successful polygamy relationship that there is one person who's the head.
Yeah.
Because if you consider yourself as the head or the person in charge, then it means you're dictating what other people should do.
See that? Dictating.
But if you are all making decisions together, doing what's best for you as a family and your children that are there or to come, then chances are you're not going to make your partner feel like they're doing something they don't want to do or make them do something that they don't want to do.
So you shouldn't feel like a prison.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Actually, come to think of it, I wonder with this term, like polygamy, the last wife is often seen as the most loved, the most
like special. A last born, basically.
Yeah, like I was about to say, like children.
Does the same apply this side? If it's 3 husbands, the last one.
Well, think of it this way: when you're welcoming someone into your space and your home, you want them to feel comfortable and loved and embraced. Those who are there before you have received that kind of treatment when they were new too. So it's not necessarily that you're the most loved. It's just that you're given a little bit more attention now in order for you to adapt. I had a friend. I had a friend who was.
We do enjoy the new toys.
One of 5 girlfriends. And there was a hierarchy. And she was number 4.
Girlfriends?
Girlfriends.
Who's this guy?
Fana Shongwane.
But there's a certain DJ also that's got like multiple girlfriends, like a lot.
And again, they chill with it.
I think like 8 or something.
And that's the thing. They all worked harmoniously. All went on like family vacations together. But one got a Jeep, the other one got a Peugeot. You know, and you had to earn your way into getting the Jeep. you know? And I do feel like that
How
makes
do you earn
sense. No, I think it's more about loyalty. If I've been here for 15 years and this new hun comes and she's getting a 350,000 rand Chanel tote bag, what's the difference? What was my loyalty and my ride or dieism for? You know,
that's true.
She has to also prove that she's in it for the long run, because before her there were many others that I had to deal with, but I'm still here. That your interests are still a priority to me. So if you're not going to take that into consideration and give me what I deserve as a result of being your person for you, then what's the point?
So you're saying that the new one does not deserve Diamond Walk, Melakale Pep and Mr. Price?
Look, if you've got all the money in the world,
Pep dog. What if I come in?
Pep has some really good stuff. Don't put Pep down.
Is it?
Yeah.
No. I'm just saying with regards to pricing. Come on now, just
I only bought
after 3 years, then we slip you up to Zara.
I only bought a phone.
You see how I look at it? So if I were one of many wives, and let's say I was number one,
you'd be the freakiest.
Probably, but I'd probably be the freakiest in any situation, if we're being honest.
That's Lindy, guys.
It's Lindy, guys.
I would take it as, okay, I'm not very materialistic, so have you got funds that have been put aside for my children's university fees? Will I ever have to worry about big bills like that, even if you and I end? No. That's all I care about. Do I have things in my name?
Security.
Don't buy a car and say I can drive it.
Give
buy me a car
it
in my name, so
yeah.
that I'm also building my credit, so that I can see that it's not only a transactional relationship, it is that you are trying to also grow me as I'm trying to grow
here
you
for free.
Emotionally or mentally. And men need a lot of support.
Yeah, that's true.
Ooh, you guys are babies.
Yeah.
But
grown
if a woman is willing to give that to you and grow you to a point of success, then there needs to be something that I am getting as a result.
In my best comrade voice, development.
Close it up. Close it up, brother.
And management.
In closing.
First of all, shout out to you homies
Dango.
for bringing up very important social topics that I think a lot of people are afraid to discuss. But not only that, are actually living in and don't know how to live in. So we've given them a bit of a platform to get a greater understanding. But just with regards to poly anything, do your research and know that consent is key in every single situation. If your partner is not okay with the way in which you want to live, then you have to reevaluate if this is someone who you want to be with for the rest of your life. Or is it something that can be adaptable, or is it something that you see potential in them growing? But a lot of the time it's wasting time. It's, you're hoping that your girlfriend will come around and allow you to have multiple girls, but at the end of the day she probably won't. So really, really think about the kind of life you want to live, just the levels at which you want to give of yourself to others, but also to be given back. Don't be selfish as men. It's not very, very easy, even as a woman.
It's going to take time.
It is going to take time, but I think the most important thing is to have an open mind and to see how it could work to your advantage. What are you gaining from this?
You know what I'll do? I'll start with my woman having another woman. Let's start there.
No, let's not start there.
That's a fantasy, Nick.
And forget even the fantasy. It's always that a woman must be the one compromising. Why? I want to have two dicks and I want to be double penetrated. But I don't want to cross swords. Then you're not for me. Then you're not for me. But you want me to go and eat some pussy, but you're not willing to cross swords for 2 seconds.
We gotta start somewhere.
Now, but the problem with crossing swords is we busy and then
no, it's eye contact. I be telling you, it's eye contact thing, bro. Like how we gonna look at each other again? Like football. How we gonna look at each other at football, bro?
Like
cross swords, bro. We cross
and then
swords.
just looking at you like,
you know what I'm saying?
Sure, boy.
Now I'll be making jokes about women, sex, or something. Come on, man.
Whatever. I challenge you guys to go and have a threesome with your girlfriends and another man. And still have your masculinity intact to know that it has absolutely nothing to do with whether you are feeling him or in any way, but it's just you're trying to pleasure your woman. And that's never ever a thing for men. The center of attention is never a woman. It's always your pleasure that comes at the forefront.
We've run a train. Does that count?
Lindy, the problem with the threesome is now she's smashing the other guy way more than you.
It's an ego thing. She's speaking about it. Guys,
I
can I come in? Can I come
anytime now. I'm ready.
Woman, can I come in?
Like, you know, I'm skipping whilst you're
It's like you doing a threesome. I'm ready. I open mega song. Anytime. But no, wait a bit.
That's annoying. Anyway, thanks for having me on TagAHomie. I hope you guys loved the season. I know I'll definitely be back for the next. Give us topics that you want us to speak on, things that you're not sure of, things that you want to hear different perspectives on, and we will definitely bring you into our homie space.
Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, follow us.
Hit the notifications bell. Love you guys.
TagAHomie.
Welcome to TagAHomie.